Are we witnessing the greatest Roland Garros final of all time? After more than 5.5 hours of epic tennis, the answer is a resounding yes. Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner starred in a historic duel that will go down in the history of the sport in golden letters. The young Spaniard claimed his second Roland Garros, saved 3 match points, and delivered a dominant super tie-break to seal a legendary feat. Stay with us, because what happened at the Philippe Chatrier wasn't just a match. It was a movie. The final between Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner began at an incredibly high pace. The Italian, world number 1, started by dominating the match with authority. His shots were precise, his serve nearly unbreakable, and his focus absolute. In that first hour of play, the Spaniard, though solid, couldn't unsettle the Italian. Sinner took the first set 6-4 and seemed to have total control of the match. The second set started similarly. Sinner led 5-2, and although Alcaraz mounted a spectacular comeback to level at 5-5, the tie-break again fell to the Italian. 7-6 for Jannik, and the world number 1 was just one set away from his first Roland Garros title. But if there's one thing Carlos Alcaraz has, it's pride, heart, and unshakable determination. He was not ready to give up. The third set marked a turning point. Alcaraz started loosening up, dictating the points and pushing Sinner deep into the court. With a clear 6-4, he was back in the fight. The match had changed, and the Philippe Chatrier could feel it. But the best was yet to come. The fourth set was a thriller. Sinner, with his usual composure, broke the Spaniard's serve early. He reached the 10th game with a 5-4 lead and 0-40. 3 championship points. 3 points away from glory. But then, the genius from El Palmar emerged. Carlos saved those 3 match points with courage, grit, and simply spectacular tennis. In the tie-break, it was Alcaraz who took control. He accelerated, raised his level, and forced Sinner into making errors that hadn't existed before. 7-6 for the Spaniard. Set leveled. The stadium roared. Hearts pounded with every point. The fifth set wouldn't just be a continuation, it would be a masterpiece. Alcaraz broke the Italian serve early and took a lead that seemed definitive. He dominated much of the set, and when he was serving for the match, Sinner responded. He broke Carlos' serve with an impeccable game and forced an even more dramatic finish, the super tie-break. And there, in that tension-filled climax, the best version of Alcaraz appeared. The champion. The one who thrives under pressure. The one who turns impossible moments into pure spectacle. With a crushing 10-2, he closed out the match and collapsed to the ground, knowing he had just written an unforgettable page in tennis history. Carlos Alcaraz becomes the first player to win his first 5 Grand Slam finals. And he's done it in style, in a match lasting over 5 hours, against the world number 1, saving 3 match points. He's proven that he doesn't just have the physique and the talent, but also the mind, the heart, and the hunger for greatness. His second Roland Garros, his 5th major, and probably his most epic victory yet. Alcaraz is no longer the future. He is the present. And he's building a legacy that is heading straight for the history books. The final between Alcaraz and Sinner wasn't just a match, it was a life lesson. Of fight, of resilience, of believing until the very end. If you were moved by every point, every drop shot, every shot of celebration, you're not alone. This match reminded us why we love tennis. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment your favorite moment, and share it with someone who needs to see what real sport is all about. Because what we witnessed today was simply historic. Did you know that Carlos Alcaraz just made history? Again? At just 22 years old, the Spaniard has been crowned 2-time Roland Garros champion after a final that will forever be etched in the memories of fans. But beyond the trophy and the standing ovation in Paris, Alcaraz also took home a financial reward that cements his status as a true global tennis superstar. Stay until the end because this triumph comes with way more zeros than you might imagine. The 2025 Roland Garros final was much more than a match, it was a battle. Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner starred in one of the greatest finals in the history of the tournament, lasting more than 5 hours and ending in a near cinematic finale. Alcaraz, who started by losing the first 2 sets, managed a comeback, saved 3 match points, and won in the super tie-break of the 5th set. A feat that not only earned him his 2nd consecutive Roland Garros title but also a record financial prize. The champion of the tournament took home a total of €2,550,000, an increase of 6.37% compared to the previous edition. This improvement is part of the tournament's efforts to equalize prize money between the men's and women's categories, raising the total prize pool to over €56 million distributed among all participants. For Alcaraz, the prize translates to £2.13 million, and in dollars, nearly $2.9 million. A figure reserved for the very best in the sport. This fifth Grand Slam title strengthens Carlos Alcaraz's impressive legacy. He had already won the US Open, Wimbledon, twice, and now Roland Garros twice. He's done it on 3 different surfaces, showcasing versatility that puts him on par with legends like Nadal, Federer, or Djokovic. All before turning 23. Financially, this new title brings him even closer to the highest paid tennis players of all time, already amassing tens of millions in on-court earnings alone. But the real value of this victory goes beyond money. Carlos Alcaraz has shown incredible maturity under pressure, coming back from the brink of defeat against the world number 1, on the toughest stage in clay court tennis. He did it with character, talent, and a hunger for glory that defines him as what he is, the leader of tennis' new era. Carlos Alcaraz's victory at Roland Garros 2025 is not just a sports milestone, but also confirmation of his greatness. He won one of the toughest matches of his career, added his second trophy in Paris, his 5th Grand Slam, and, as if that weren't enough, pocketed €2,550,000 that solidify his status as one of the most influential figures in tennis today. At every step, Carlitos isn't just winning titles, he's writing history. Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner played the longest final ever at Roland Garros, 5 hours and 29 minutes of battle, talent, and heart on the clay of Philippe Chatrier. It was a match that had everything: Sinner's early dominance, Alcaraz's comeback, match point saved, and a final super tie break that will forever remain in tennis history. But beyond the result, an epic 4-6, 6-7, 6-4, 7-6, 7-6 win for Carlos. What stood out most was what happened right after the match ended. While Jannik Sinner, devastated and on the verge of tears, tried to process the loss, Carlos Alcaraz approached him and dedicated words that echoed beyond the stadium. During the trophy ceremony, Alcaraz addressed the crowd, but especially his rival, with a message as sincere as it was powerful. "It's incredible the level you have. I know how much you're chasing this tournament. You will be champion not once, but several times. It's a privilege to make history with you. You are a great inspiration for young people and for many others, including myself." These words not only reflect respect but also show deep mutual admiration that goes beyond competition. Yes, Alcaraz won the final, but he knew how to recognize Sinner's role in a match that needed both players to become legendary. Because Jannik wasn't an easy rival, he dominated the first 2 sets, pushed Carlos to the limit, and was just 1 point away from winning Roland Garros. The 3 championship points he had are proof of how close he came. But the greatness of sport, and especially tennis, is also measured in how one loses. And how one honors their opponent. Carlos Alcaraz continues writing his legend not only on the court but also off it. His words to Sinner, full of emotion, humility, and admiration, remind us that sport is much more than victories. It's respect, it's shared history, and it's inspiration for millions. This final didn't just give us a champion, it gave us a rivalry that defines an era and an example of sportsmanship that won't be forgotten. Win Roland Garros and not get closer to world number 1? Sounds impossible, but that's exactly what happened to Carlos Alcaraz. After defeating Jannik Sinner in what's now considered the best final in the tournament's history, the Spaniard is still far from the top spot in the ATP ranking. How is this possible? And what other moves occurred after the Paris Grand Slam? Stick around, because what we're about to explain will change how you understand tennis rankings. Carlos Alcaraz claimed his second Roland Garros and 5th Grand Slam in an epic 5 hour and 29 minute match against Jannik Sinner. But incredibly, the world number 1 remains the Italian. Why? The answer lies in how the ATP ranking system works. Each player accumulates points over a 52-week cycle, and when that cycle ends, points from each tournament expire and are replaced by new ones. Carlos was defending 2,000 points as 2024 Roland Garros champion. And by retaining the title, he simply renewed them. He doesn't gain or lose points, maintaining his 8,850 total. Jannik Sinner, on the other hand, was a semi-finalist last year, defending only 800 points. By reaching the final this year, he earned 1,300. That's a net gain of 500 points, further solidifying his lead as world number 1 with 10,880 points. Despite losing to Carlos in the final, Sinner comes out ahead in the rankings. A paradox only the ATP system can explain. But watch out, because the real battle could be decided at Wimbledon. Alcaraz will be defending another 2,000 points there as the reigning champion. If he fails to repeat his triumph in London, Sinner could open up an almost insurmountable gap in the rankings. But if Carlos defends Wimbledon, or even improves in later tournaments where he didn't shine in 2024, like the US Open, the fight for number 1 between August and November is wide open. Alcaraz's Roland Garros win doesn't earn him extra points, but it does give him morale, confidence, and a clear message to the whole circuit: he's stronger than ever. The Spaniard keeps fighting from behind, but with more chances than ever to dethrone Sinner before the year ends. Meanwhile, other names are also rising in the elite of tennis. Jack Draper enters the top 4 for the first time, Musetti reaches number 6, and Tommy Paul climbs to number 8. Meanwhile, players like Casper Ruud fall out of the top 10. Do you think Carlos Alcaraz will reclaim the world number 1 this season? And who will be his biggest threat for the rest of the year? Let us know your opinion in the comments, subscribe to follow all the latest in the world of tennis, and share this video if you also believe we're witnessing a new golden era with Alcaraz and Sinner leading the way. See you at Wimbledon.